Hi, welcome to this episode. In this one, we're going to talk about something you're probably super familiar with, that critical inner voice that always seems to have something to say. We're going to dig into where it comes from and, more importantly, how we can change our relationship with it.
Yeah, sound familiar? That little whisper that just seems to pop up at the worst possible moments? I think it's safe to say most of us, if not all of us, have heard some version of this thought before.
It's almost like there's a second voice in our heads, right? Kind of like a narrator who's just commenting on everything we do. And the weirdest part? It often sounds so calm and confident, almost like it really knows what it's talking about, even more than we do.
Okay, so let's walk through a super common scenario. Just imagine you're sitting in class. You totally know the answer to a question, and you're thinking, okay, I should raise my hand.
But then, bam, instantly, that voice chimes in. It just plants this little seed of doubt, and all of a sudden, something so simple feels like this huge, massive risk. And what happens? Your hand stays right where it is.
Or, okay, how about this one? You see someone new, maybe someone you'd like to get to know, and you think about just, offering a friendly smile.
And just like that, the voice jumps in and makes a judgment call for you. It decides it already knows what the other person is thinking. And of course, it assumes the worst. So you're filled with this social anxiety before you've even done a single thing.
Okay, another one. Maybe you get really excited to learn a new skill, like, guitar, or you want to start a cool art project, or try out for a new sport. You feel that little spark, that burst of motivation?
And there it is again, that same voice, questioning why you'd even bother. It just sucks the energy right out of you before you can even start. It really can make the world feel a little bit darker, a little less hopeful, can't it?
So what's the deal? Why does our own brain do this? Why create this narrator that feels like it's working against us? Well, it turns out there's actually some really fascinating science behind this whole thing.
It all comes down to something called the negativity bias. And this is super important. This isn't a flaw in you. It's not a personal failing. It's actually a built-in feature of the human brain. Think about it. For thousands of years, our ancestors had to be on high alert for danger to survive. A rustle in the bushes could be a predator. So our brains got really, really good at spotting the negative. We're basically still running that old survival software.
And here's how a simple, anxious thought can get so powerful. It starts as just a thought, nothing more. But when that thought gets repeated over and over and over again, our brain starts to go, I'm hearing this a lot. It must be true. It starts treating it like a fact. And that's the key right there. Repetition is what turns a fleeting thought into a firm belief. And then we start avoiding situations that might trigger that thought, even if those things could be really good for us.
Okay, so let's get back to our story. After just listening to this voice for, forever, our main character finally decides to do something different. Instead of just taking the criticism, they decide to get a little curious.
And for the very first time, they actually turn to face that voice and ask it a really simple but really powerful question.
And the answer is probably not what you'd expect. The voice doesn't say, I'm here to be mean, or I'm here to hold you back. No, it says its entire purpose is to protect you.
Protect you from what, though? Well, think of the voice like a mixtape of every single time you've ever been hurt. It has a track for that time you were embarrassed, a track for that time you failed, a track for when you felt rejected. Its whole mission, its only job, is to make sure you never, ever have to feel those things again.
And, wow, that realization just changes everything, doesn't it? When you understand that this voice isn't some evil critic, but more like a clumsy, misguided bodyguard, you can shift your entire perspective.
So here's the big change in thinking. The old way, we heard that voice as a command, an order, something that defined reality. But the new way, we see it for what it really is, a warning. It's just a suggestion based on old, outdated data. And you know what you can do with a suggestion? You can question it.
And something pretty amazing happens when you stop fighting the voice, and instead, you just try to understand it. It starts to lose its power over you. It just doesn't have that same authority it used to.
Now, we gotta be realistic here. The goal isn't to make the voice go away forever. I mean, it's part of our brain's wiring, right? But the goal is to change our relationship with it. It's still there, yeah, but it's quieter. It's more like background noise instead of the main narrator running the show.
And all of this leads us to a really powerful truth. You do not have to believe everything you think. Your thoughts, especially those really critical ones, they are not orders. They are just suggestions, popping up from that old protective part of your brain that's just trying to keep you safe. So, That's what I want to leave you with. The next time you hear that critical inner voice pipe up, instead of believing it or fighting it, just get curious. Ask yourself, what old hurt is this voice trying, in its own kind of clumsy way, to protect me from? Seriously, the answer just might change everything for you.